Centrica, the company that owns British Gas, has reported record profits for 2022, helped on by high energy prices. It has led to criticism from trade unions who accuse Centrica of energy profiteering after the firm posted profits of over £3.3 billion. Joining us is Dr. George Dibb, the head of the Centre for Economic Justice at Institute for Public Policy Research. So, George, just talk us through this. £3.3 billion in profits. That's a lot more than they made last year, isn't it?
That's right. So their profits have gone up by 350%, over a tripling since 2021. They made less than £1 billion in profit in 2021. But last year, fueled by the record energy prices and gas prices that we've seen, spurred by the Russian invasion of Ukraine, they made over £3.3 billion of profit. We really think that that's a scandal at a time when so many households and businesses are struggling with these energy bills.
What is scandalous about it?
Well, that they made such a large profit and an increase in profit while so many households are struggling. And then on top of that,
surely
instead of using...
I'm just putting this to you. Surely economics is that if you make a profit, that's what businesses do.
Well, profit should be a reward for businesses that are investing and innovating and creating products that people want to buy. These record profits that we've seen from Shell, BP and Centrica are not a reward for hard work. They're simply a windfall as a consequence of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now, they could have been using those profits to invest in the green transition. They could be using those profits to reduce the bills that their customers have to pay. But instead, they're accumulating these record profits, the highest on record for Centrica, BP and Shell. And they're then finding no place to usefully invest that, because we can see that these firms are doing something called a share buyback. This is when they buy their own shares on the open market. Really, this is a symptom of a company which can see nothing worth investing in better than its own share price.
So these companies... carry on. No, go ahead.
This morning, Centrica announced £300 million of share buybacks. That's on the top of £250 million they did last year. So almost £500 million of profit that basically Centrica are saying they just don't need.
So let's go through all the arguments, because there are obviously so many energy companies who are making this big money, right? They probably would refute what you say about that they're not investing in anything and they're not looking to that green transition.
Yeah, well, I can't speak for Centrica, but looking at some of the profit announcements that we saw last week, Shell spent more on marketing than it did on renewables investment in the last year. These firms are passing this back largely to shareholders, often at a significantly higher rate than they're investing in green technologies. And the other countries are not neutral on this issue either. In the US, they've decided to levy a 1% tax on these share buybacks. President Biden proposed quadrupling that 2 weeks ago to 4%. Canada, similarly, have imposed a 2% tax on that. It's a low tax, but if the UK had levied that, over the past year, we've seen a record £55 billion of record profits being passed to shareholders through share buybacks. And if we'd have had that low tax rate of just 4%, that'd have returned £2.2 billion of tax revenue to the Exchequer, who could have then used that to support people who are struggling with their energy bills, businesses which are potentially going under because they can't afford their gas and electricity, or on the public services that we know is so important at the moment.
So the other thing they say, George, is that they haven't made a lot of money for a long time, right? And now they have these profits. Yes, it's come at a time where it's unfortunate, and it's on the back of these high energy costs, but they haven't made a lot of money in a long time. They're making the money now. The energy industry is so volatile that they don't know when they're going to stop making this kind of money.
Well, they'll stop making the money when the record prices that we've seen on gas and electricity stop. I mean, consumers know that their bills are the highest they've ever been.
That's the thing, right?
Yeah, but the unexpected nature of the market is the market that they're in. They can't then use that as an excuse when we've seen so many people struggling. We know that we're going into a recession. The Bank of England already seems to think that we're in a recession. That's directly spurred by these record energy prices. taking an additional cut, additional profit on top of those record prices will only make inflation worse and will only make that recession last for longer. We really can't be relaxed about this. I don't think it's a simple issue of firms smoothing out their profits. These are records. These are levels that we've never seen before. And also profit margins we've never seen before.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, Dr. George Dibb, but thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you.